A few weeks ago, I made the horrible decision to attempt to speedrun Just Cause 2 to 100% completion. The current world record is 25 hours and 21 minutes, over a full day of Just Cause 2. But they did it in short segments over 5 days. I'm gonna do it in one segment without any sleep. And I'm gonna try to do it faster. I feel unwell. From game crashes, to mental fatigue, potential soft locks, and resisting the intense urge to quit, this speedrun was one of the most painful experiences of my entire life. So, let us begin. The day was May 6th. I began my stream, not knowing for how long I'd be live, fired up Just Cause 2, and started the game on this loud helicopter. We're on! I had a quick stretch, and the gaming began. Our first introduction to the game took place in this wonderful mountain base, where we used the grappling hook, parachute, and gun. We used these tools to destroy our first red objects and pick up our first boxes. Red objects and boxes happen to be the foundation of Just Cause 2's universe, and in total there are 3,000 boxes and 3,700 red objects. Oh, and also 4 new designs for my brand new merch on martincitopants.shop. That's right, boyos, you've wanted, you've waited, and now it's here. New drip available on martincitopants.shop. We have 4 brand new incredible designs made to get you more bitches. We've got grill, funny water vehicle, frog, but small and embroidered, and my personal least favorite, this garment will get you bitches. We've got stickers. Gentlemen, we need to do some guerrilla marketing. Buy these stickers and put them in the wackiest, weirdest, and most obtuse places you can possibly think of. You get 20 stickers, so go nuts. Do not put them anywhere illegal. Remember, I'm watching. Submit your wacky, weird, obtuse place to the Discord and we'll collectively rank them. The highest ranked sticker will receive nothing. Gentlemen, you want to buy these products. Put your ear close enough to the boat one and you can hear how funny it is. Okay, real talk for a minute. I genuinely really like this merch. I wear it around quite a lot, and even though it is my own merch, I don't feel like an idiot walking around in it. The guys in the back end are Represent.com who are really good. They do PewDiePie's merch, they do Dan TDM, they even do regular celebrities like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Mark Ruffalo, you know, for all my Mark Ruffaloids out there. What I'm saying is that your money is safe with these fellas, and you will not be disappointed by the quality. Buy it if you want, don't buy it if you don't want, and on with the video. To complete the game, I would need to collect every single item and destroy every single object. But this was only the beginning, and things were off to a pretty good start. My spirits were high, and I was feeling ready to attack this 25-hour speedrun. What? I was feeling ready to attack this 25-hour speedrun. I was feeling ready to attack this 25-hour speedrun. I'd bought 6 meals, practiced for a few days beforehand, and created a very rough plan for what I was going to do. First up were the initial story missions, so we didn't get flattened for a third time, finished the first mission, and immediately began the second, where we had to rescue Carl Blaine, a man of dubious quality who had recently lost it all on some weird monkey pictures. We got him to safety, that is, after he was minigunned to death, and finished the second mission, where the game suddenly opened up and we were free to do whatever we wanted. Naturally, what we did next was introduce ourselves to the 3 criminal factions on Panau. We did this with violence, and took over a military stronghold for each of them, starting with the Euler Boys, a collection of Ted Kaczynski enjoyers who wish for nothing more than to return Panau to Monkey. Next were the Reapers, a bunch of communists led by the character with the second greatest voice actor in the history of gaming.
My name is Bolo Santosi.
And finally, the Roaches, your run-of-the-mill drug cartel led by Razak Razman, a man that says some of the most suspicious sentences I've ever heard in my life.
I am happier than a man after colonization.
As we passed the 1 hour mark, the donation text-to-speech had started to become quite annoying. So I skipped a few. And for my sins... Oh, the game crashed. A first crash only an hour into the run didn't bode well, but I knew Just Cause 2 wasn't particularly stable, so I didn't think much of it. But of course, 12 minutes later, it happened again. Hour 1 was mainly composed of doing strongholds, listening to random shit from the text-to-speech man, and collecting black boxes, of which there are 100, and every single one of them is at the bottom of the fucking ocean in the middle of nowhere. Why? Anyway, black boxes aside, things were going well. Except for this mission, where we needed to steal this tank and drive it to Bolo. I thought I could save some time by driving through this forest, but I couldn't. Uh-oh. No, don't tell me. 2 hours were down, and things were going according to plan. I had even managed to find one of the funniest vehicles in existence. Oh my god. And chat definitely thought so too. You know what else chat thought was pretty cool? This little guy. And you know what else chat thought was pretty cool? The next mission, Mile High Club. This mission takes place in the Mile High Club, which is a club suspended about 800 meters from the ground by these two big balloons. This mission was for the roaches, and of course, Mr. Razman, being the incredibly horny man he is, had some interesting things to say about this fine establishment.
Pardon me for being a hopeless romantic, but a better whole house I never did see.
Once we arrived, we got to work doing some of my favorite activities, like pressing some buttons on laptops, watching these bars go up, shooting strippers, and listening to audaciously funky beats. For the next hour, we shot some civilians into space, drifted a limo down a mountain, did this stronghold, dance break, oh yeah, had the game crash, no, and began the next story mission. This mission would introduce us to the next great character of Just Cause 2, Tom Sheldon. A man who loves a big fat greasy pig roast, eat the pig, greasy tasty pig, almost as much as he loves oil. The timer had crossed the 5-hour mark, and things were still going pretty well. Next on the agenda was the mission Driving Miss Stacy, in which we had to drive Miss Stacy, a character that Bolo clearly does not like one bit.
Pick up the whore, Miss Stacy.
We picked up Miss Stacy, then proceeded to murder her boyfriend and drop her off.
Thanks for the ride, honey. I'll be thinking of you.
Sometime later, we started the mission Pulling a Jeremy. What it means to pull a Jeremy, I can only guess. It involved this government informant who we had to drive to safety. Naturally, we had a little difficulty with this, and so did he, causing him to have a deep moment of inner contemplation. Something that caused me to have a deep moment of inner contemplation was the next mission. Our objective was to steal this jet and fly it over to this mountain base. Pretty simple. So I stole the jet, took off, and started flying to the base when this happened. Oh, and there it goes again. Not to worry, the game had been pretty unstable, so I tried again. Oh no. Clearly, something was wrong. So I tried again. Fuck. The pain was building. Each time it had crashed, I had flown the plane to the right, so this time, I'd try flying it to the left. The pain was building. I validated the game files, tried the mission again, and instead of going left or right, flew up. It was looking pretty good. I crossed my fingers and mentally prepared myself for the game to crash once again. But it never came, and we flew over the base and finished the mission. That was it. Sit! Now for something equally painful. Not because the game was crashing, but because I'm shit. Pirate Broadcast. This mission takes place on this enormous broadcast building. Now initially I was under the impression that this mission was good. Oh, Pirate Broadcast, this mission slaps. You climb up the building, align some dishes, blow some stuff up, and jump off. What I did not account for, however, were these. Oh no, the sentry! Sentry guns, which can kill you in about 2 microseconds. Not to worry. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. No! Okay, well, fool me thrice. It's this one! It's this one! Fool me 4 times. Shame on me. We finally didn't die to the little bastard sentry guns and finished the mission. Okay. Boosh. So of course, on to the next one. This time, a story mission. The start of it was quite far away from the action, so naturally I dropped a fast plane in to fly there quickly. This mission featured another set of wacky characters. Guess what, gentlemen? It's ninja time. I figured now was as good a time as any to finish off the story, so I went to the start of the next mission, but got distracted with this. Oh yes. This mission was the Three Kings, where you just murder some dudes from overseas. Nice. And finally, the last mission, where you go into the President of Panau's mouth
and cut him down.
Okay. Now
then shoot this helicopter, then leave the mouth. Look, I'll be honest, alright? I have no idea what's going on. I skipped all the cutscenes, so I'm just as lost as you, alright? Once we were out of the mouth, Sheldon tasked me with finding oil.
We got the coordinates for the oil field.
The oil field. But I didn't find oil. I found this giant submarine, which had President Panay inside. So we jumped in and shot him in the head about 290 times.
You stink of excrement, you bitch.
And he was dead. Actually, no, he wasn't. He was just kind of slumped on this chair, and then I pressed enter, which skipped the cutscene, and then we were on a bunch of missiles. You know what? Fair enough. And this being Just Cause 2, at the peak of the action with the highest possible stakes, we have to hack some things by pressing some buttons and then press the Alt key, jump across, shoot. Yeah. We jumped across to the final missile, stuffed Panay into the hatch, and sent it into the oil field. And that was the end of the game. The game was done, but it was very, very far from complete. In fact, after you complete the story, you get given a percentage counter telling you how far through you really are. And it wasn't far. This pace gave us a projected finish of 20 hours and 37 minutes. A long way away, but also 5 whole hours faster than the current record. All we had to do was maintain the pace. Jumping Parole. A simple mission where we hijacked this truck with a friendly associate inside and escaped to safety. On the first attempt, the car was obliterated by an enemy helicopter. On the second attempt, we got a bit further, but I made the terrible decision to take a shortcut, which resulted in this. Okay, we're taking a shortcut. Don't stop. Do not stop. The car stopped. It ran him over! Attempt 3. This time, I would just drive down the mountain, following the road. But this switchback is really long and I can just drive down this way to skip it. We'll give it a go. Oh god, don't run him over again. Attempt 4. Too much hubris. For real, no funny business this time, and we made it back in about 5 minutes. Nearby was the highest point in the game, so we paid it a visit to get this skull and cross the 8-hour mark simultaneously. As you can see in the webcam, the sun was beginning to set. Once nighttime arrived, I knew the pain would increase drastically, and we still weren't even halfway done. Things had steadily been getting more and more painful, but we were still far from maximum pain, and even further from finishing. The only thing I could do now was keep going. And keep going, I did. Whoa! Away he goes! At 8.5 hours, we reached 40% completion, which is when I went to get some food. A protein shake, come, and some plums. I got more plums. In Just Cause 2, there are 4 gigantic cities, and each of them is filled to the brim with items and red objects. We began the cities by doing the races. Lots and lots of races. Ooh! This race gave us a tuk-tuk, which we would use to drive through some very narrow passages. Me, trying to be a big brain, decided that a bike would be better since it's both thinner and faster. But I was punished for my hubris. Oh! Whoa! What? This race even had us get into a fire truck and drive it at incredible speed on the footpath. Oh my god. And then this race gave us an APC to do the exact same thing. Nothing like some good old pedestrian obliteration. Hold on a second. You want me to go through these civilians? Okay, I'll do it. Hour 10. We had finally crossed double digits, and we're still doing races. Hour 11. The races were all done, and I'd moved on to the items. Now, helping me in this speedrun was this program called JC2 Map Viewer. Not only does it give you the exact position of every item in the game, but you can load up a save file, and every time the game autosaves, it'll update the map and remove the stuff you've already done. In practice, this meant I'd look at the map, find where I was, find where the next item was, go back in the game, use the minimap to find the item, and repeat. Now, normally this would just be tedious and annoying, but remember, I'd been playing Just Cause 2 for over 11 hours at this point, so tedious and annoying was more like painful and frustrating. 20 minutes later, the first city of 4 was done. Sit! And then the second. And while we were just finishing the third, we crossed over the 12-hour mark. Half a day in Just Cause 2, and we had only reached a little under 50%. This, of course, gave us a projected time of a little over 24 hours. We finished the last city and crossed 50% shortly after. Sit! The most difficult navigation was done, but generally speaking, things were going to get a lot worse. I pulled up Map Viewer to get a good visual of how much was left, and it didn't look good. Look at how much shit there is left. I've only done half of it. Oh my god. Did I really want to subject myself to this? I could just quit right now, and the majority of my audience wouldn't even know I'd started this speedrun. But no. Quitting was absolutely not something I wanted to do. So I put my head down and kept going.
This just in, Greer.
Three more hours had passed, and we had reached 60%. This gave us a projected time of 26 hours. At 16 hours deep, we had officially reached the pain zone. The sun had set over 8 hours ago, but wasn't going to rise again for at least another 5. And more importantly, I realized we weren't going to be done for at least another 10. I'm probably going to be here for another fucking 10 hours. God, that doesn't even bear thinking about. Jesus. It was around this point that my mood visibly began to shift. I was tired, I was feeling pretty done, the exit to Windows button was looking enticing, and my bed was looking exceptionally comfy. You could see by the way I was sitting, I was clearly not having a good time. Despite the pain, we were still making progress.
You look broken, my guy.
And at 16.5 hours, we paid a visit to the lake with a giant shark inside it. There it is. The shark. Very spooky. Then I decided I'd complete all the races. This game has 75 races, and they all suck. They're boring, disconnected, and don't give you much completion for the amount of time they take. The good thing about races, though, is that they're easy. All you have to do is go through the circles. This would be the start of my rapid deterioration, by going through circle, after circle, after circle, after circle. Oh, are you fucking serious? Ah well, it had crashed literally dozens of times at this point, so I started it back up and tried the race again. And it crashed. Again. No. This, like the last time, was clearly not a coincidence. I tried validating the game files and restarted the mission. Let's try it again. Oh, fuck me. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. I was at my wit's end. I couldn't just fly up high this time since I had to fly through the rings. Was this it? 17 plus hours of Just Cause 2 just to get perpetually stuck on this stupid fucking race. Surely not. I had to try something else. And lucky for me, I did have one last trick up my sleeve. I opened up the launch options and changed the frame rate limit down from 150 to 60. I figured since it's an old game, it might be more stable on a lower frame rate. If this didn't work, I was well and truly fucked. So, I tentatively gave it one last go.
You look dead inside.
Come on. Yes. Sit! We had successfully avoided another softlock, which boosted my mood temporarily, and then was immediately crushed when I remembered how much longer I had. This is not going to end anytime soon. So of course, back to the races. 15 minutes later, I started this really shit one in the snow. Normally cars in this game are a huge pain in the ass to drive, but put them on snow or ice and they become completely undrivable. After 3 minutes of trying my best to keep the car from spinning out, I drifted into these rocks and got stuck. No fucking way. Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. Rico, clearly craving getting stuck again, then went ahead and stuffed his head into a wall. Oh no! From here, it got worse. I'd reached 65% at 18.5 hours. Doing some more extrapolation, we get a projected finish time in 10 more hours. The projected finish time had in fact been 10 more hours for the last 8 hours. So of course, we continued on the races. The next of which was the longest race in the game. 15 minutes of driving this car down this road, going through circles. Then this plane race. Then this Learjet race. But it turns out the Learjet's fucking later on. 66.66% completion. A devilish 2/3 of the game had been completed. But did it feel like I'd done 2/3? No. Did it, in fact, feel like I'd done anything? No. My alarm went off, and it was time for food. Cuckoo. Once I came back to the stream, it was clear I wasn't doing so well. Man. It is currently 4:25 a.m. And I'd be okay with that if I was going to finish in like 2 hours, but I'm not. At this point, we had almost reached maximum pain. Alright. But of course, we pressed on. I stopped talking and just let the situation really sink in. The full absurdity of what was happening had finally hit me. I'm here, in my room, playing this dumb game I used to play when I was 12. It's 5 in the morning, I'm cold, tired, and there are 8,000 people watching me. My face is right there. They can all see me. Why? Why are they watching me? I sat there stirring on it. I thought about my career, my life, and all the events that had led up to this dumb speedrun. I felt completely in over my head. I feel unwell. Just like straight up just sick. Why is it me here? Why not someone else? These thoughts stirred. Thinking, rethinking, overthinking, circles, items, cars, donations, explosions, the viewers, the money, the timer. At 20.5 hours, I'd finally done it, and reached maximum pain. I could barely stay awake, the sun was still nowhere to be seen, and as always, we still had another 10 hours to go. But then, on the horizon, the sun. Yeah, but no one cares about that. What they really care about is the funny. And you know what's even better than 69% completion? 69.69% completion, baby! Fuck! Shit! 5 minutes later, we began the very last race. A boat race. I had banned the funny boat word in chat a number of months ago since that's all you idiots would ever say. So instead of spamming boat, the chat had to be a little more creative. Jesus. And once that was done, we had our next milestone. 70% completion at 21 hours and 16 minutes. Which gave us a projected finish of not 10, but 9 hours in the future. Gentlemen, it was happening. The sun had risen, and the second wind had come. Live for a whole day. Fuck. Why do they call it an oven when you cold eat the food out and hot when the... My fellow Americans, Fortnite dancing back at the White House. "30 hours of Just Cause 2. The end was in sight. Now, you may be thinking, Mart, we just skimmed over 9 hours of footage. Surely we've missed at least something interesting. Nope. At this stage of the game, it had become incredibly repetitive. Hours upon hours of bases, objects, items, bases, items, objects, objects, bases, items. The most interesting things that happened were the percentage milestones, this black box that's really deep underwater, this pipeline that had the code 43434343, and pressing the knock knock sound on my stream deck, spooking a bunch of viewers. We were currently at 93% completion. 7% more, and we'd be done. Relatively, not very much, but 7% still constituted another 2.5 hours. So of course, we kept going. And that was it. Almost every single item, object, every mission, every race, and all 369 locations out of 368. The very last thing we had to do was this mission, Stranded, which would take us to this island in the northwest. The timer read a little over 32.5 hours, a full 7 hours slower than the record. But I've been lying to you. This timer you see on the screen is not what we're using to record our final time. It's there purely for show. No, the actual timer is the in-game timer, which is paused every time the game crashed or I went for a break or pressed escape. This timer is the one that actually matters. We made quick work of the very last mission, picking up some collectibles on the way, and before we knew it, there it was. The very last item of Just Cause 2. Gentlemen, Just Cause 2, 100% in one sitting. Look at that. With a final time of 32 hours, 51 minutes, 58 seconds. So, did we beat 25 hours? Did we set a new, unbelievable world record? No. We got 27 hours and 18 minutes. We had not, in fact, broken the record. But, as far as I can tell, I'm the first person to ever complete Just Cause 2 in one sitting. And you know what? That's good enough for me. That was fucked. That was fucked.